for it never should be there at all. With such power in your smile, sure a stone you'd beguile, so there's never a teardrop should fall. When your sweet lilting laughter is like some fairy song, and your eyes twinkle bright as can be, you should laugh all the while, and all other times smile, and now smile a smile for me. When Irish eyes are smiling, sure it's like a morning spring. In the lilt of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. When Irish hearts are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. And when Irish eyes are smiling, sure they steal your heart away. For your smile is a part of the love in your heart, and it makes even sunshine more bright. Like the linnet's sweet song crooning all the day long, comes your laughter so tender and light. For the springtime of life is the sweetest of all, there is ne'er a real care or regret. And when springtime is ours, throughout all of youth's hours, let us smile each chance we get. When Irish eyes are smiling, sure it's like a morning spring. In the lilt of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. When Irish hearts are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. And when Irish eyes are smiling, sure they steal your heart away.
Hello, that glorious singing was by the great John McCormack. This is Jim Ryan at Community Radio Youghal with the first of 4 programmes on our greatest ever singer. He may be neglected somewhat today, but for many years, after Caruso's death in 1921, he was the most popular singer in the world. In 1929, only 2 years after Al Jolson's The Jazz Singer, he was paid $500,000 to sing and act in the film Song of My Heart. That was astonishing money for that era. He broke attendance records wherever he sang. The legendary soprano Luisa Tetrazzini, with whom he often sang in opera, described him as, and I quote, the tenor with the God-given voice. He truly was a master singer. While for beauty of tone a voice like Caruso's may never be equalled, McCormack's brilliance in such a varied repertoire and in such a variety of singing styles leaves him unrivalled among recorded singers. The renowned Sunday Times critic Desmond Shaw Taylor wrote in the 1960s of his versatility, and I quote, "Of all the great singers of this century, John McCormack was the most versatile. Opera and oratorio, Handel and Mozart, Brahms, Wolf and Rachmaninoff, Irish folk songs and ballads of simple sentiment. In all of these he was at home." End of quote. Experts on singing rate many of John's 600-plus recordings as models of their kind. And those hearing McCormack for the first time will, I feel, find his voice a revelation. When Irish Eyes Are Smiling was recorded in 1916, and the voice rings out with all its youthful freshness. The lyrics were written by Chauncey Alcott and George Graff, both New Yorkers, with music by Ernest Ball. It has featured in over 20 Hollywood movies and was Ted Kennedy's favourite song. Published in 1912, it's a somewhat romanticised tribute to Ireland and its people. And now, from Handel's Simile, we'll hear one of McCormack's most celebrated recordings, O Sleep, Why Dost Thou Leave Me? For smoothness of line, beauty of tone, and for phenomenal breath control, some people consider this to be John's greatest recording. In the opera, Jupiter has misbehaved with Semele, a Theban princess. Juno, his wife, naturally is angry, and she sends Somnus, the god of sleep, down to earth to disrupt Semele's sleep. Restless, Semele sings, O sleep, why dost thou leave me? Now listen in particular at about 1 minute 45 seconds, where John sings the song Wandering on one breath, in the phrase, Restore my wandering love. I once timed it at 22 seconds. It's not the 20 seconds plus breath that makes it sensational, but the full, smooth flow of tone he maintains on that one breath. My great friend, the late Tommy O'Brien, a wonderful presenter of classical music and opera for so many years on RTE radio, said of McCormack, and I quote, "At his best he was, in my opinion, miraculous." End of quote. This recording is a miracle of singing. Late in his life, when John was listening to this record, he is reputed to have said, and I quote, "By God, it couldn't be done." A performance there for the ages, surely. Of John's operatic recordings, all are very good, while some are masterly. He had a great career in opera up to 1923. Victor Galanx wrote of hearing McCormack at Covent Garden sing the tenor arias from Puccini's Tosca, that John's sweetness, perfection of control and beauty of phrasing, as he said, they all thrilled him. This comment by Galanks, who heard so many great singers and who threw brickbats as readily as bouquets, is noteworthy. The Welsh tenor Dennis O'Neill is also an admirer of John's opera recordings. Although John didn't have a robust voice, Max de Chauncey recalled, and I quote, his slightest intention reaching the back row of Philadelphia's Metropolitan Opera House, even though his voice was of soft texture and moderate size. End of quote. Similar stories are told of John's appearances at London's huge Albert Hall. Now to Verdi's Rigoletto, and one of the most thrilling quartets in all opera. It's been described as, and I quote, 4 minutes of pure gold, end of quote. The licentious Duke of Mantua is trying to seduce Maddalena. Gilda is heartbroken at being jilted by the Duke, while her father, Rigoletto, swears vengeance. John recorded it twice, first in 1910 with Melba, but she hardly let him near the recording horn. We'll hear instead the 1914 recording with Lucrezia Borri, Josephine Jacobi and Reginald Verdenrath, where there's more vocal balance. John's singing here, especially in the opening lines, is exemplary.
Bella figlia dell'amore, schiavo son dai vezzi tuoi, con un detto salto poi le mie pene consolar. Vieni a senti dal mio cuore il frequente palpitar con un detto salto poi le mie pene consolar. Anche il piangere non può.
A lovely quartet and some great singing all round there. Nigel Douglas writes that in some of his operatic recordings, and I quote, McCormack produces some surprisingly dramatic outbursts for an essentially light-voiced tenor, end of quote. John McCormack was born in Athlone on June 14, 1884, to Andrew and Hannah McCormack. He was educated by the Maris brothers in Athlone, then at St Mary's Boys National School, and finally at Summerhill College, Sligo. He went to Dublin in 1902 and joined the Palestrina choir in the Pro-Cathedral. He was coached in singing by the choir's director, Dr. Vincent O'Brien, and won the gold medal at the 1903 Feis Ceoil, the judge being the composer Luigi Denza. In 1904 he sang at the World Fair in St. Louis, Missouri. In the next year he went to Milan to study with Vincenzo Sabatini, the last great teacher in the bel canto tradition. On hearing John sing, Sabatini commented, and I quote, "I can't do much for this boy, God has done all," end of quote. Months later, on January the 13th, 1906, he made his operatic debut in Savona, Italy, in Mascagni's L'Amico Fritz. In July 1906, he married Lily Foley, a singer. They had 2 children, Cyril and Gwyn. Happily, many of their descendants are alive today. John's recording of the nostalgic American ballad Ben Bolt is another of his finest. The lyrics by Thomas English were set to music by Nelson Neas in 1848. Tommy O'Brien used to tell of being in a record store in Cork when a stranger advised him, and I quote, "If you want a good McCormack, Ben Bolt is the best record the man ever made," end of quote. It's a beautiful song of memory with John's singing both tasteful and magical.
And trembled with fear at your frown. In the old churchyard in the valley, Ben Bolt, in a corner obscure and alone, they have fitted a slab of granite so grey, and sweet Alice lies under the stone. They have fitted a slab of granite so grey, and sweet Alice lies under the stone. Remember the school, Ben Bolt, and the master so kind and so true, and the little nook by the clear running brook where we gathered the flowers as they grew. On the master's grave grows the grass, Ben Bolt, and the running little brook is now dry. And of all the friends who were schoolmates then, there remains then but you and I. And of all the friends who were schoolmates then, there remains then but you and I.
Ben Bolt there. Had he never made another recording, Ben Bolt, recorded in 1914, would show John's greatness. His big breakthrough came at a ballad concert in London in March 1907. 7 months later, on October the 15th, at Covent Garden, he sang the role of Turiddu in Cavalleria Rusticana, the youngest tenor ever to sing a lead role there. Then, over 8 consecutive seasons, he sang 14 different leading roles at Covent Garden. And in 1913, the London Times said he was, and I quote, in the front rank of tenors. In Boito's lovely opera, Mephistopheles, it's Easter Sunday, and Faust has just returned from a walk in the countryside. And in this reflective aria, Dai Campi, Dai Prati, he sings, and I quote, "From the fields and meadows I return. I am filled with peace. The passions of the heart fall asleep. I am fired only by love of man and love of God." End of quote. Listen to the way in which the mood of serenity is conveyed vocally by John. This 1912 recording by him comes very close to perfection.
passioni dal cuore s'assonnano in un placido oblio. Mi ferve soltanto l'amore dell'uomo, l'amore di Dio. Dai campi, dai prati, ritorno verso l'Evangel, mi sento tratto, macindo.
From about 1912 onwards, John turned more and more to the concert platform. In the pre-war years, with the rise of verismo or realistic opera, with its emphasis on expressive and more robust singing, he turned his back on the operatic stage. And while in the lyric tenor roles he was matchless, he never felt at home in opera. Another McCormack I love is the American song, The Vacant Chair. It has a very sad background. William Grout was killed during the American Civil War. A friend of his, Henry Washburn, imagining his family's heartbreak at his absence from November's Thanksgiving celebrations, wrote this haunting song. John recorded it in 1915. He was criticised sometimes for singing inferior songs that were beneath him, but Henry Pleasance in The Great Singers, a must-read for anyone interested in great singing, disagrees. John had, and he writes, the art of turning lesser metals into gold. There was never a trace of condescension towards anything he sang. The same attention to line, tone, phrase, diction and intonation were expended upon the plainest Irish or other popular song as upon Mozart or Handel. So let's hear The Vacant Chair.
vacant chair. We shall linger to caress him while we breathe our evening prayer. When a year ago we gathered, joy was in his mild blue eye, but a golden cord is severed, and our hopes in ruin lie. We shall meet, but we shall miss him. There will be one vacant chair. We shall linger to caress him when we breathe our evening prayer. At our fireside, sad and lonely, often will the bosom swell at remembrance of the story how our noble hero fell, how he strove to bear our banner through the thickest of the fight, and uphold our country's honor in the strength of manhood's might. We shall meet, but we shall miss him. There will be one vacant chair. We shall linger to caress him when we breathe our evening prayer. When we breathe our evening prayer. Our evening prayer.
And you heard there also the lovely voice of Reginald Vernrat singing along with John. And in the vacant chair there, you had some lovely singing, of course. And I would just mention that John Scarry's superb sleeve notes for the McCormack edition, they tell us that this recording of the vacant chair has the highest note John ever recorded, a D flat above high C. Il mio tesoro from Mozart's Don Giovanni, which John recorded in Camden, New Jersey in 1916, remains today a benchmark by which great singing is judged. John himself said that if he were to be judged by just one of his recordings, it would be Il mio tesoro. The mastery he achieves in this recordings may never be equalled. In his book, The Grand Tradition, 70 Years Singing on Record, J.B. Steen wrote, and I quote, John's Il mio tesoro has become a key illustration in any talk about standards in singing. McCormack copes well with this most testing of arias in a way that no one matched on record for over half a century. End of quote. And this is what Alan Blythe, in another monumental survey, Opera on Record, writes, and I quote, Pride of place goes to John McCormack's Il mio tesoro for its easy flexibility, purity and exemplary control. It's one of the finest pieces of Mozart singing ever recorded. End of quote. The singer and broadcaster Nigel Douglas pays John the ultimate tribute. Having sung the role on stage, he well knew the dread every tenor feels as the time approaches when this fearsomely difficult aria must be sung. Giovanni's servant Leporello is going to depart the scene, and the orchestra launches into those magical introductory bars of music. Douglas writes, and I quote, The tenor wishes that John McCormack's artistry would descend upon him, as he realises that Leporello is about to bolt and that nothing on earth is going to prevent Il mio tesoro from coming next. And he has to sing it. End of quote. Here is Il mio tesoro. McCormack almost makes it sound easy. It's surely Mozart as he is sung in heaven. Pure gold. Lovely singing there. Incidentally, McCormack loved Mozart's opera. When he was off stage in Don Giovanni, he tells us, and I quote, "I used to stand all the time in the wings, so that I should not miss a note of that heaven-inspired music." End of quote. Yes, heaven-inspired it surely is. Now we have another lovely song, this one by Stephen Foster. Foster died in 1864, aged only 37. He wrote over 200 songs, among them Beautiful Dreamer, My Old Kentucky Home, and Oh, Susanna. He died in penury with only a few cents to his name. because copyright laws were then in their infancy, and anyhow he had no business sense. Come Where My Love Lies Dreaming is among his most enchanting songs, and John's recording of it a joy to listen to. His accompanist Gerald Moore wrote of him, and I quote, "If he could not sing a song with conviction, he would throw it away." End of quote. John's love of the song shines through in this recording.
Happy hours away, in vision bright redeeming the fleeting joys of the day, dreaming the happy hours, dreaming the happy hours away. Come where my love lies dreaming, sweetly dreaming the happy hours away. Come where my love lies dreaming, sweetly dreaming her beauty beaming. Come where my love lies dreaming, sweetly dreaming the happy hours away. Come with the news, come with the day, my own love is sweetly dreaming, her beauty beaming. Come where my love lies dreaming, sweetly dreaming the happy hours away. Soft is her slumber, thought bright and free, dance through her dreams like gushing melody. Light is her young heart, light may it be. Come where my love lies dreaming, dreaming the happy hours, dreaming the happy hours away. Come where my love lies dreaming, sweetly dreaming the happy hours away. Dreaming the happy hours away.
McCormack and Stephen Foster, a lovely combination there. Poor di Cesti, the aria by Antonio Lotti, who died in 1740, is one of John's most unusual recordings. He sang on one occasion in the same concert as the ageing soprano Adelina Patti, and she had recorded it. So he recorded it himself because, as he said, it would make the sopranos jealous. Indeed, he sings it with the grace and the vocal agility of a coloratura soprano. His phenomenal technique is clearly evident as he throws off runs and trills with abandon. And it's about the joys of kissing, a grand pastime surely. The song says, and I quote, "Beautiful mouth, you have spoken that gentle yes, that makes my joy complete. In his honour, love has opened you with a kiss, O sweet fountain of pleasure." End of quote. The vocal gymnastics, the trills, the faultless diction, and John's sheer joy in singing it make this a treasure. Here is Poor di Cesti.
Poor di Cesti, oh bocca bocca bella, oh bocca 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 bella, quel soave caro sì, sì, che fa tutto il mio piacere, il mio piacere. Pur dicesti, oh bocca bella, oh bocca bella, quel soave caro sì, sì, quel soave caro sì, che fa tutto il mio piacere, il mio piacere, quel soave caro sì, sì, che fa tutto il mio piacere, il mio piacere. Per onor di sua facella, con un bacio amor t'aprì, con un bacio amor t'aprì, dolce fonte del goder, sì del goder. Pur dicesti, oh bocca bella, oh bocca bella, quel soave caro sì, sì, che fa tutto il mio piacere, il mio piacere. Pur dicesti, oh bocca bella, oh bocca bella, quel soave caro sì, sì, quel soave caro sì, che fa tutto il mio piacere, il mio piacere, quel soave caro sì, sì, che fa tutto il mio piacere, il mio piacere.
The perfection of the singing there is simply breathtaking. Hearing poor Dichesti, it isn't surprising that Gordon Ledbetter, broadcaster and McCormack biographer, could recall, and I quote, "the eagerness with which old-timers would recall the awe and enchantment they felt at the beauty of McCormack's voice and the power of his personality." End of quote. As McCormack's recordings become more readily available and in excellent reproductions, we can all see more clearly how great a singer he was. Somewhere a Voice is Calling, with lyrics by Eileen Newton and music by Arthur Tate, was published in 1911. It was a huge hit and was recorded by, among others, Richard Tauber, Tetrazzini and Tito Schipa. Here is John's 1914 recording with its melting pianissimo ending. This is lovely.
Dusk and the shadows falling o'er land and sea. Somewhere a voice is calling, calling for me. Dusk and the shadows falling
We return to Handel for another of McCormack's iconic recordings, Come My Beloved from Atalanta. The sleeve notes on the Naxos CD quote Desmond Shaw Taylor. This recording is, he wrote, and I quote, the epitome of McCormack's virtues as a classical singer. Observe the perfectly equalised flow of pure tone, the marvellous breath control, and in particular, the soft rise of an octave to the high A flat near the end. End of quote. John's singing at this point is simply miraculous. Some good judges believe that this is his greatest recording. And Nigel Douglas points to a further aspect of his mastery, and I quote, on the lower note, that's before the octave rise, McCormack does not betray by the minutest sign of effort or audible preparation that he is about to indulge in such vocal acrobatics. End of quote. John, the master singer, takes this musical Beecher's Brook in his stride. In 1924, the voice was still in great shape, and Come My Beloved is simply a marvel. Handel's Come My Beloved. A Dublin man once said of John, he was an angel singer. And that man was right. In December 1919 he recorded When You and I Were Young Maggie. And about his including those popular songs in his concerts, John once said, and I quote, "It isn't everyone who appreciates the more artistic music. The world is full of men and women with humble thoughts and simple sentiments, and who shall despise them, for are they not men and women?" End of quote. And those men and women loved him. When You and I Were Young Maggie was written by George Washington Johnson, a teacher in Toronto. He fell in love with his pupil, Margaret Maggie Clark, and they were engaged to be married. She contracted TB and while she was ill he wrote this tender poem. They married in 1864, but sadly she died the following year. J.C. Butterfield, his friend, set Johnson's poem to music. A song of memory, it's sung without a trace of sentimentality, and it's wrapped in the McCormack magic. So, thanks again for listening. There are more great McCormack recordings to come next time. So it's goodbye for now. Goodbye.
I wander today to the hill, Maggie, to watch the scenes below. The creek and the creaking old mill, Maggie, as we used to long ago. The green grove is gone from the hill, Maggie, where first the daisies sprung, and the creaking old mill is still, Maggie, since you and I were young. They say I am feeble with age, Maggie. My steps are less sprightly than then. My face is a well-written page, Maggie, but time alone was the pen. They say we are aged and grey, Maggie, as spray by the white breakers flung. But to me you're as fair as you were, Maggie, when you and I were young. And now we are aged and grey, Maggie, and the trials of life nearly done. Let us sing of the days that are gone.